welcome back to Privilege Check, a podcast where two girls from different backgrounds come together to unveil the reality of modern society. I'm Lavleen.
And I'm Shivangi. Through this podcast, we want to reach out to the privileged.
You already know you are because you have access to this podcast.
And teach them the 101s of how to not be a privileged prick.
In this episode, which is going to be an episode for the privilege take, we're going to go on and talk about the privileges or the misconceptions or the things that we have found in Mimi, which is a new release on Netflix.
Yes. So for those of you who haven't watched this amazing movie, it is a movie about a woman who wants to make it big and become an actress, but she doesn't have the money to go to Mumbai, which is, the hub city of dreams and whatever. So what she does is she finds this driver who is played by Pankaj Tripathi, and he proposes a deal to her that if she poses as a surrogate of a foreigner's baby, then she'll receive like certain amount. That's exactly the amount she needs to go to Mumbai, and she accepts it. And this is just her story of her surrogacy and the child and everything.
Yeah, that's what it is. And Pankaj Tripathi as well. Yeah, you were a little laggy. Say something.
No, I wasn't lagging. My leg was trembling, and that's
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that so funny? Okay. Pankaj Tripathi as well, being the amazing actor he is, he plays, he not just is the conveyor of the message to Mimi, but like he as well is somebody who is facing this problem of not being able to have a baby, and he comes across this foreigner couple, if that's what we should call them. Foreigner sounds like such a weird word to say. Foreigner couple who are
American couple. You can just say American couple. My God.
Are they American? Are you sure they're American?
Yeah, they're American because they said they have to go back to Chicago or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so the American couple who have come to India solely to get a baby, which is really weird. But yeah. So he's actually the driver for them, and then these guys are discussing women, like the women they would want to have their child, and they're discussing about the whole thing of who they can select as a potential surrogate. And Pankaj Tripathi like thinks like kitne open-minded log hai, because he thinks like they're looking for another woman in their marriage, and
that's how the movie starts.
That's how it is.
Very, very, very memorable movie. Honestly, like Pankaj Tripathi, just love him. Like very good characterization and whatnot. But there are still obviously how it's perfect for me. I don't understand how I'm getting stuck. You're not even getting stuck for me. Can you hear me now, or am I not lagging anymore?
See, you do bakwas na, makhan.
Okay, I'll go again then. So, love Pankaj Tripathi's character, his characterization and whatnot. But obviously, considering this is a 2021 movie, and it is.
How is this possible? I don't understand how it is possible.
I don't get it, Lavleen.
When you are yelling at me, when you are yelling at Zoom because you are lagging and talking about how smooth everything is, you're smooth. But the moment you're like, love Pankaj Tripathi, I'm like, kya? Pankaj to bolo to sahi pura.
Are you ramen or something? Just because I'm appreciating a fellow Tripathi.
You're lagging again.
Intentional.
You're stuck.
How is it now?
Huh.
Am I back?
Yep, back.
Okay. So yeah, I love Pankaj Tripaঠি's characterization, love his character and whatnot, how he portrayed it, very down to earth, and it was a really good watch overall. However, I would just like to point out that it is still a Bollywood movie, even though it's a 2021 Bollywood movie, and it's talking about something that is a progressive kind of topic that hasn't been covered by mainstream actors, at least. Like surrogacy has not been covered by mainstream actors and has not been like promoted as much. So it is a good step. However, there are a lot of problems. Uh, of course, by the characters, and like the characters have hinted towards what society problems are as well. So yeah, Lavin, do you wanna start?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest, most obvious issue is this movie is supposed to be revolving around surrogacy and infertility and the stigma and the taboo around it, and trying to make people understand, or the motive could have been something like that. But the least I understand about anything in this movie is surrogacy. Like zero idea. Like for somebody who would have probably heard the word for the first time, they're just like, what is going on? How is this working out? How is somebody else's baby into somebody else? But that's the thing that they've least spoken about, when they could have used this platform to amplify such a topic, or to amplify the voice given to it, because they're all that's one of their themes. It's already one of the established themes, right? So might as well make your movie to a better use by covering the topic in due justice. So that's one of the major things that I found, and the most obvious as well.
Yeah, I think they briefly covered it. Like when they go to the doctor's clinic, he asks the doctor, like the gynac basically, who's overseeing Mimi. She asks like the man to go and deposit his sperm into like a bottle and whatever, and then she like inserted and whatever. They inserted like the thing into her uterus, but like I don't know if they've done anything more than that, and I don't know what more is like there to say about this, because like
Hmm.
they covered the fact that you don't need to physically sleep with each other in order to have a baby. They covered the fact that it's very clinical, uh covered the fact that it's also very separate, like a man puts it in a like bottle or whatever it is, and then like there's a doctor team that's going to insert the baby inside your uterus or whatever, and then it grows and you give birth to it. And they've also covered the legal aspects of it, I think. Like I don't remember. I didn't watch the ending. What I remember from it is that yeah, my data died, so I couldn't watch the ending. But from what I remember, they have a lawyer also who appealed that since it was it may have the baby might have been kept in her uterus, like in Mimi's uterus, but the fact that it was a legal contract she signed where she was supposed to give the baby after like she's given birth to it, because it is surrogacy after all. He said that it is against law for you to keep the baby. I think I covered almost all of it. Like I don't know if I wanted anything more. Did you like think something was missing?
I mean, I would say that they touched upon the topic, but I still feel like they should have explained it a little better, or in the sense, it felt like a natural progression of things happening, right? And there was minimum dialogue about it, which made it feel like, हाँ ये तो बस background में हो रहा है. It didn't feel like a main revolving theme. It felt like something that's just happening for the sake of it. And moreover, I think I think I read a few in a I don't remember where, but I read somewhere that apparently the whole legal aspect of it wasn't covered very well, because what happens in a case where somebody decides to just leave their child and go for like an amount of years, right? I understand that the binding contract would have been for Mimi to give the baby, but like in such a situation where the parents like fled away, the biological parents fled away, it
Yeah.
I think it plays out in a different way, where they need to go through procedures to prove that they really want to take care of the baby and they're going to be better parents or something like that. In fact, in 2015, this whole idea of foreigners or like um any foreign couple coming into India and like trying to get a surrogate was banned. So that's another thing.
Nice. I think that's why they must have like got inspired for this subplot of a foreigner couple or whatever. But I didn't know. I'm like not contesting that legal binding contract or whatever Mini signed was valid and or
Yeah,
anything like that. I just thought like they covered like all aspects of it, and like you said, it looks very naturally progress. Like it feels like there's a very natural progression of events. I think that's what they wanted to achieve because wow, I just froze for myself. Did I freeze for you?
you did for a bit, but you can go on because you'll have to
Yeah,
repeat
okay.
like a whole part again. So I think it's fine.
Okay. Anyways, I interrupted myself, so I have to
Yeah.
repeat. But like I feel like I think that's why they used, like the foreigner couple aspect because it was banned or whatever. I think they might have gotten inspired from that. My second point was about like I wasn't trying to contest whether like the legal binding contract was valid and the baby should have been given back to like the parents or anything. I just thought they covered all aspects of surrogacy. And third, like you said, how it there was a very natural progression of events, right? I think that's what they intended because when you show something that is like when you show something in a way that is normalized, that is a very that's a very harmless thing to do. That even a small town girl like me would be willing to take part in it. I think it just creates more awareness about the topic as it is because it shows that there's nothing that's wrong about something like this. When Mimi can do it, then I think other women, if they want to be surrogates or whatever, they can also do it and whatever. I think that's what they intended, and I kind of like that they didn't make it a Mukesh kind of ad, like the infamous Mukesh Tambaku ad. Like I like that they didn't make it like that, and they made it very natural. So that's like my problem. But I think it should have been. I think surrogacy should have been. I don't know how to say this, but I think it should have revolved around the central plot a little more that it was given attendance to, I feel.
All right. I mean, that's fair enough. That makes sense. Also, if you notice how Mimi's parents, when because we're on the topic of normalizing the whole conversation about surrogacy, how Mimi's parents were so cool about like, okay, fine, she's carrying somebody else's child, that's cool. But in the initial parts, when she was like, hey, I'm married
Yes,
to someone else, or she's having an baby out of wedlock,
potentially Muslim man.
yeah,
Remember that?
exactly. They had so much problem about it. They're like, यार किसी और का हो तो चलेगा बस मुसलमान
Musalman?
ही होना चाहिए.
Yeah,
You can't. Also, like
such a
all the Muslims
such a
there
bad
were,
age.
if I don't know if you noticed, but every Muslim ever in that movie had like a Hyderabadi accent. Yeah,
And
this
yeah,
is
and they have
set
weird
in,
subplots as well, like triple talak wali, like her
yeah,
friend was talak and whatnot.
yeah,
And then they had like the entire thinky, her father's thinky Quran and all that. They had a
yeah,
weird subplots for like Muslim
yeah.
characters. I don't know
So
why.
nothing done to like remove the stigma around Muslim people,
Yeah, how
but
Islam treats women. Yeah,
yeah,
they did nothing for
yeah,
that.
they didn't no efforts for that, but definitely like uh, definitely the one thing that I did notice was, hey, ये तो राजस्थान में था, ये हैदराबादी क्यों बोल रहा है? But so yeah, I think it was very stereotypical as well. So I don't know.
Lovely, do you know there's something called immersive view on in Zoom? I'm sorry to interrupt you. Do you want to see it?
Okay, so now that we are back after our whole obsession about immersive view by Zoom, and we figured out how we want to place ourselves like two
Yeah.
kids. Um, we'll get back into the episode. So I'm assuming the last thing we discussed was the last thing we were discussing was how they have not tried at all to remove the stigma or to remove the stereotypes about being Muslim, about following the Islamic
Yeah.
religion, uh, and about and how it has been very culturally inappropriate along with giving them very weird subplots. So that's the last thing that we were discussing. Shivangi, do you have anything else to add to that?
Not about the Muslim part. Like, I don't think like I think we covered everything we had to this. I think we should move on to like the next privilege.
Yeah. I'm hoping you are going to bring up the next point.
Okay. Yeah, I have something. It's not the main problem we had with this entire thing. I think we should cover that. But it's not a problem I had with characters, but it's like more of something that this, you know, spoke about. So like when Mimi, so basically people who haven't watched Mimi, you guys should know that the reason Mimi is in such a hurry is because she's going to turn like I think she's gonna turn like 25 or something recently. I don't remember what year she's going to turn into, like, but it's basically a dead end if she goes into Bollywood with that age. And it just reflected the casual ageism that, Bollywood constantly pesters on about. Because imagine being like 25 or like in your 20s and looking like super young, and but then not being accepted by Bollywood for any roles except like Ma and all that. So I think it really did a great job portraying how irrational Bollywood's obsession with young actors is. Because I remember a lot of the times, like a lot of debut actors in the debut films are like only like 19 or 18 or something, and these people haven't even got like the world figured out. Forget about like the industry and what potential threats it can offer. And everybody wants to chase money, right? So like the parents allow it and whatever because it's an extra income, and the child's also like, yeah, this is my passion. Nothing could go wrong in this or whatever. Everybody's having a great time. But you really realize how fickle, your relevance can be when you start aging. Like even if you're not actively aging, it gets to the point where you were told that if you're 30, then you have no business trying to play like female leads. I really like that part of the movie.
Yeah, definitely. That is something I noticed as well, where I felt like, hey, that's exactly how short-lived the shelf life of Bollywood actresses is, like in general. Um, by the time they're 30, 35, there's somebody else entering at 18. Like we're 19,
Yeah.
and at least the
Yeah.
choice of our careers, we have something vaguely figured out, but to decide that, hey, this is it, this is what's going to happen. I think I genuinely feel like, at least, hey, 18, 19ish is still quite young to be pushed into an industry and say that, hey, you got to work as much as you can at this point, which also is weird considering Kendall Jenner started her modeling
Yeah.
career at 14.
Yeah.
I was watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, okay, and I saw that she's at 14. She has this book, and she's like, I want to be a model, and I was like, at 14, I didn't know what my favorite color was.
At 14, you were busy standing one direction. Who has like an idea
Yeah,
of like what career they want to?
I
They want to
know.
for sure go into modeling or something. Like you have an idea about what subject you
Hmm.
like. Like I remember 14 is
Same.
when we had like that debate about best subject, worst subject, and all of that. Favorite
Yeah,
subject, hate
yeah, yeah,
subject.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's what we do when you're 14. And like to
And
have
like,
people,
I think at 14, you're planning which college you would go to, or like art, science, commerce, kya karna hai. I think that's the
and I
max
didn't do
you
that
think.
at 14, but yeah, that's normally like the age of doing that. Also, now that you brought this thing up that people are like as young as 14 when they enter
Hmm.
industries, have you You seen the movie called Blue Lagoon?
Movie called?
Blue Lagoon.
I don't think so. I have no.
So it's a movie about like two people who are like, like us, metro
Okay.
people, and they get, and there's this plane accident or something, and they get transported into like this. Sorry, they fall into like this. Uh, what do you call a place that's never been visited? And
Barren land.
not really. It's an island. It has
Yeah,
leaves and everything.
an
So what
unknown
is it
island,
called?
undiscovered.
An unknown island, and yeah, it's an unknown island. It's an undiscovered island as well, and they basically spend their entire thing there. So it has a sequel, I mean, and in the sequel, what happens is the same girl who was left, in the island. This guy and this girl were left together. Now they have a relationship and whatnot. And it's so crazy because this girl is being told to portray the character of a mom and everything. And when I looked up the age of the girl, she was like what, 13 when she did this? If I'm not wrong. She was 13 when she was doing all of these like intimate scenes and like uh that woman, I remember she's done a lot of these movies where she's so young to play these characters like
Exactly.
brothel daughters and everything.
Hmm.
How is a kid supposed to understand what is that and what compels
Absolutely.
people to do something like that?
Absolutely.
So yeah.
Absolutely. Moreover, like I think Neena Gupta talks a lot about this, where she's like, "Hey, you don't want to give me roles of young people," and I completely understand. I'm beyond that age. I look old now. I'm not going to get a plastic surgery and look younger to again not get roles, right?
Yeah.
I've accepted the fact that I'm old now, unlike many other Bollywood actresses who are still chasing roles where they would be appropriately aged. She's like, "मैं बुढ़ी हो गई हूँ." I'm cool with that. I understand that absolutely, but at least give me the role of a mother, give me the role of somebody, of an auntie, give me auntie wale roles. That's cool, but give me roles, right? I'm still in the industry. I've not been discarded. I'm still here. I still have the capacity to work. Of course you need people
Yeah.
to portray somebody who's a 50-year-old. Why take somebody who's 30, who's 25, and put on makeup and make them 50, right? Just use somebody who is already 50. I am 50, or like whatever the age is, I'm giving you an example, right? So she's like, I am old. Give me the older roles at least. And that's the whole thing that she's going on about, which makes so much sense. Like, I'm looking at somebody like um who's 30 and she's portraying somebody who's 50, and I feel like, hey, that's what a 50-year-old should look like. But no, that's not how it works, because she's just 25, she's 30, 25, what more? And I feel like the shelf life of actresses, like I said, in general is like so short as compared to actors. Like if this was
Yeah.
in general, like if this was in general, like actor, actresses, both of them are like discarded by the time they're 35-ish. It
Men
would
just
still
get
make,
finer
it
where
was,
if they age according to industry. Yeah.
yeah, it would still make sense. But like, if you, I don't know, like Shah Rukh Khan or like Salman Khan acting with a girl half their age at this point, I think it's getting a little
Akshay
creepy.
Kumar,
Getting,
his new
yeah,
movie about, yeah, his new movie Bell Bottom.
yeah.
He's acting with Vanvi somebody, and she's like 25 young years. Oh,
One,
amazing! Now that we're talking about ageism, let's talk about Bell Bottom, because in Bell
okay,
Bottom, Akshay Kumar is starring opposite a girl who's like Vanvi or something like that, and she's 25 years younger or something like that. She's like half his age or whatever. And then
exactly.
Lara Datta, this is a like Lara Datta is playing Indira Gandhi's character, somebody who's supposed to be like twice Akshay Kumar's age in the movie. Lara Datta. And in reality, she's younger than Akshay Kumar. This is ageism.
That's
Amazing. I love that you
exactly,
talked about Salman and Shah Rukh because that reminded me of Akshay Kumar.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if Shah Rukh Khan also does it as much, but Salman Khan is all over the place. It's always like actresses much younger than him who are cast alongside. It's just so weird. Like,
Yeah.
hey, calm down. Like, at least like kabhi kabhi earlier 2012, 2014, like when it was still an acceptable age gap, like you would still, it wasn't as creepy, but it's getting more and more creepy day by day. you
It
need to
is.
stop by at some point, right? Just
Yeah.
it's not like his movies are great and the concept is great and his plot is great. But just stop by at some point. It's over.
It's yeah, it's like Shah Rukh and Alia also did not make sense to me.
Yeah.
I never watched Years in the Case. I have no idea how the movie is or
Hmm.
whatever. But
But
from what I
I feel
remember,
like
it's
I wasn't as creeped out by Shah Rukh and Alia because
because he acted his age, I think. Like he
yeah,
was a
exactly.
psychologist or
That's why I
whatever,
said
right?
it's not Shah Rukh Khan as much because he
Yeah.
acts his age. It shows that there's a huge age gap, and it shows that, and I think the romantic interest was one-sided, as Bollywood would term it. Like, I think Alia's character was romantically interested in Shah Rukh Khan, her therapist, but I think Shah Rukh Khan played a
Yes, yes.
professional. He did not reciprocate similar feelings. So it makes sense. Like,
Jahangir Khan or something like
yeah, so
that.
it makes sense, like a them showing a younger person
Yeah.
infatuated by somebody older, but the older person
Yeah, and
understands. It shows it.
yeah, and that's a very that's actually not even a love interest plot because that's actually
Yeah,
a psychology plot because
exactly.
clients do have get like positive
I
transference towards their
absolutely,
therapy, so
absolutely.
it makes sense here. Yeah,
Yeah,
so I don't think
that's
that Shahrukh was
hmm,
valid here.
it's weird. But I also
Uh,
don't understand, how does Bollywood have so much space for men? Like, if you think, like, suppose there's an Alia Bhatt or there's Janvi Kapoor or there's who's that other dumb one? Ananya
Ananya Pandey.
Pandey.
Oh my God,
Coming.
it's actually horrible.
There's an Ananya Pandey coming in. You obviously know that Aishwarya Rai and Kajol, all of these people are out of the box. They're like done. They're done and dusted. You are out. These people are coming in. But how is it possible that there's a Tiger Shroff coming in, but Jackie Shroff is still working, or there's a Tiger Shroff coming in, but like I don't think Jackie Shroff still does that many movies, but like there's Salman or Shah Rukh who are people these guys probably looked up to at some point of some point of a time in their childhood, right? These people are like, oh wow, I've grown up watching Salman movies, I've grown up watching Shah Rukh movies, I've grown up watching Akshay movies. And like, how does Bollywood have the space for so many actors? Like, these people keep coming in, but these guys are not being kicked out. Till
Yeah,
when do I
it's
have to watch this?
yeah, it's the same thing as like Nasruddin Shah. He's still a part of Bollywood, and his son is also still a part of Bollywood.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to me how
Hmm.
there's so much space for
But
acting.
yeah, exactly. But you know, when you talk about Naseeruddin Shah, I think like he as well. I think Shah Rukh is going to be the same way, where they just accept their age and accept roles according to their age, right? Like even Ranbir Kapoor and
Yeah.
his father Rishi Kapoor are still working, but you will see Rishi Kapoor a lot
Rishi
less.
Kapoor died.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry,
What are you talking about?
he worked till he died. So you would
Yeah.
towards the end you would see him a lot less as compared to Ranbir Kapoor. And similarly with Naseeruddin Shah, he is like almost like done dusted sort of thing because these are people who accepted their age. Similarly, if you see Janvi Kapoor and who was a mom, Devi, like you hadn't seen Devi for years before Janvi entered.
Yeah, I think her last movie was Mom or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, which was also her playing a mom, which was like an okayish role.
Yeah.
The movie didn't do as great as it should have. So
But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about ageism. I
yeah,
think we should move on to like problem that the movie had. I don't even know if it's a problem that the movie had, but like it really uh again commented on society, and it proposed a very interesting, counter argument to what uh like Caucasian authors have been basically what British like thought for a long time, and it's basically that Indians are very insensitive about mentally challenged children,
hmm,
or even like the idea of having potentially mentally challenged children, and here in this movie it wasn't Mimi who ran away when she learned that the child could possibly have Down syndrome. It was actually the foreigner couple who ran
yeah.
away
Could Mimi
when they
run
like
away? I mean,
Oh, she had a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, she couldn't even abort, right? Oh yeah, she
But
could abort.
she, another discrepancy that was found was like she was in her third trimester, if that's what it is called. I don't understand as much.
If it's
But
a third trimester, then you are like 6 months or 7 months or eight.
yeah,
Sorry, seven,
that's
8, 9 months.
yeah,
You can't
that's
kill a
when
baby then. Baby has a heart.
yeah, exactly. So that's when they found out that the kid had like Down syndrome or like symptoms of Down syndrome. So she couldn't technically abort it, but the medical professional said that she could abort, and they gave abortion as an option
Yeah.
when it shouldn't have been. But also the whole thing that she would rather have a baby who is a potential liability, to be very practical at this matter. But she would rather have a baby like that alone and take on that liability, knowing that she doesn't have a job, knowing that she has a lot in front of her, and knowing that society isn't going to understand it. She chose that over abortion, which also talks about the whole stigma and taboo around abortion in India, right?
It also actually talks about this categorization of women as this feelings over brain
Yeah,
kind of species. So and it's always reflected when we have female characters that they think, they feel
they
before
feel
they
more
think.
than they think.
Yeah. So, and it's a very consistent archetype that they've maintained across, throughout the entire era of Bollywood. And I feel in Mimi we see it again. I actually even I had a and I was sort of very uncomfortable with the idea of Mimi embracing it very suddenly, because it just got into the archetype that women are just so accepting of like everything and whatever,
This
and
whole
like
thing, this whole mother glorification thing also, na, कि यार मैं
yeah, it
माँ
needs to
हूँ इस
stop.
बच्चे की, and like this is
Yeah,
my baby, I feel it in me
yeah,
and all of that. It's that. It's also like I personally feel like it also polices women to an extent as to how they're supposed to feel. Like, hey, you're a woman, you're supposed to feel like
yeah,
you're a mom. You're these
yeah,
are the feelings a mom should feel. These are the feelings a mother
yeah,
should. So like I wouldn't be surprised that children grow up thinking that mom, like mothers have this whole antenna that they can understand everything and all of that.
yeah.
Like
My
there is
mother
no
made me
bad
believe that.
mom.
Yeah, my mother made me believe that she's installed when I was born. She installed a camera inside my stomach. So every time I would lie that I've eaten something, she would know because she would look into the camera. Obviously, I never believed it. I'm too smart for my own good. But yeah, this is like what mothers do. They try to do all of this to build a bond with children.
Manipulative.
Yeah, they are manipulative.
Yeah,
Who
like
can learn gaslighting and all of this better than like mothers teach us
yeah,
that?
they go to the same school. There's like
Yeah,
one. I'm very convinced that there's one
there's like
mom
this
school.
manual they all get, I'm sure, when they
Yeah,
go for like a
yeah. You know those
pregnancy
brochures they give
sonograph.
about like stem cell donation and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
pregnancy pamphlets or how to care for
I'm
your
so
baby, and
sure.
there's one how to be a mom, and it's the same. वो
Definitely.
चार brochure मिलते हैं साथ साथ में.
It's some like secret hidden thing, and
Yeah,
that's why we don't know about it, but it's happening. It's not, doesn't make
it's
sense
like
why
Area
everybody's
51.
acting the same. Yeah, it's a secret society. I'm telling you, there's somebody
No,
out
wait.
there.
I think Area 51
I probably
is in for
Alok
aliens.
Nath is going on.
It's Area 51 isn't for aliens. It's for potential mothers. It's for pregnant
Definitely.
women.
I'm pretty sure pregnant women conjured it up. They're like, I want to escape my family. What better place than to go live with aliens?
Yeah.
But
Amazing.
yeah,
That's all the mom jokes we have.
yeah. What did I want to talk about? That it while it tried to create a counter argument for the stereotype that women like Indian people like don't really, they want perfect children or whatever. It was a foreigner couple doing it for this time, and they're like, yeah, the girl has to be healthy, she can't be like malnutrition or whatever, and she has to be young, she can't be old, and she has to be a dancer because then they have a great body and whatever. Like it's just, it feels like a man who is
Honestly,
trying to shop for
yeah,
like a
yeah.
wife.
Yeah,
What the hell
exactly,
was this? It's supposed to
exactly.
be a child. You're supposed to love it
Pankaj
no matter
Tripathi,
what.
I am with you. Like, I
Yeah,
understand why you felt the way you felt, okay?
yeah,
And see, I understand like people might want a surrogate who is younger, who is healthier, because
yeah. So she could survive.
yeah, so
Yeah,
she can survive childbirth. It makes sense. They don't want somebody who will kill their baby. They don't want that.
yeah.
Considering like the percentage of surrogacy being successful is really tiny as well. I'm pretty sure that that makes sense. But the moment they saw Mimi dancing and they were like, "This is great," I was like, "How? Like, how does this
Yeah,
make sense? Like, you don't know. This could be a potential serial killer. You just watched her dance."
this could have, yeah, this girl could have like potential diseases or something inside
Yeah,
her body
like she
already.
could
Like,
have
how do
like
you?
those blood transfer diseases.
Yeah,
She could have
yeah.
anything.
It could have been anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I don't get it.
she could want your money and run away with your money, but you were like, no, she dances. और क्या हो सकता है? This is Bollywood version of Disney movie, where the Disney movie is like, इसे गाना आना चाहिए. They're like, इसे नाचना आना चाहिए.
Yeah, exactly. And I was very concerned that they had no problem with whatever she was dancing or like all of that. I was like, wow, they're so cool about everything.
Yeah,
I was like,
because
what is this?
yeah, traditionally, there's a whole conception of the kind of women who dance.
No.
If you like, there's a whole thing going on about what
Yeah,
kind of women are if they dance, or the women who are performers basically. There's a whole conception about that. How were they like not concerned at all? It's not
I don't get
possible
it.
they came to India with that little research.
Yeah, and like exactly like how are they so? I was so surprised when I saw. I really thought that they were referring to like somebody else or something, but they really weren't. They were referring to like that Mimi only. I thought there would be like a plot twist or something where they're like, oh
Yeah,
नहीं
same,
Mimi ने हम किसी और का बात कर रहे थे, पर
same.
नहीं ये Mimi ही चाहिए था इनको.
Same.
It was so weird.
I also thought that maybe no, I thought it in the other way around, where I thought that um they wanted Mimi because like देखो यार नाम है पोस्टर है, so I was like यही मेन कैरेक्टर तो होने वाली है. But I thought
हाँ,
maybe Pankaj Tripathi would go and approach somebody else
yeah,
for the
that's
baby.
what I meant. I
Oh,
thought the foreigner couple, maybe they wanted Mimi or whatever, but maybe they approached somebody else, and then Pankaj Tripathi is like, "ये आपको चाहिए" or something like that. I was expecting a progression
yeah,
like that
some
when they went
yeah,
to Mimi.
I know like cliche Bollywood plots like things.
Yeah, because like everything else is cliche about this movie. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, that's
yeah,
something that we both thought. But nahi, wo nahi hua, and it was just like Param Sundari Gana ga liya, naach liya.
Anji.
Let's get this baby. Let's get this girl, this really tall girl, to have our baby. Also, apart from the movie, um, people were really appreciative of the fact that Kriti Sanon or Sano, I don't know how to pronounce her surname. She decided that she's
Mm.
going to put on a lot of weight to play this role. And people were so
Are you kidding me?
appreciative of the fact that she's putting so much efforts into
What weight
playing
has
this
she put
role.
on? She just needs to put on a damn baby bump.
Yeah,
What?
but she did put on some weight. She had to like put on some weight, like so that her face and her arms and all of that look better.
Yeah, have you seen Big Mom? Have you seen Big Mama?
Yeah, of course I have.
So don't they do that? And it looks very real.
I know, but like I want to know, man. She did put on weight, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's an dedication for this role," and now she's going to have to train so much more to get back
She
thin.
was probably, yeah, she was probably begging to gain weight, Baba.
Yeah,
Actresses का diet देखो.
huh.
Kidding me?
So
Which
they,
woman wants to live
yeah,
like
but also the whole thing that oh my god, she like put on weight, like putting on weight is like such a big deal. Like, kya
it's not
ho
like
gaya? She
Mimi
had to
actually
put
went.
on weight. She had to
Yeah,
put on weight, Shivangi. Do you know what a sacrifice that is?
it's not like she had to go and like talk to somebody who lives like, you know, where Mimi was situated at, or understand like a surrogate problem.
Bare
No, no,
minimum.
no, 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 no. She couldn't wait. She should be
Yeah.
given like the Bharat Ratna for it.
Nobel Prize lao. Bharat Ratna is just
Anji.
Bharat Ratna. Get the Nobel Prize for this woman. And also the fact that they're like, now she's going to have to lose so much weight for her next, because God forbid there is a Bollywood actress who has a tiny bit of fat around her bones. God forbid that happens. The apocalypse is on its way. Like
So
Bhumi
dumb.
Pednekar, so like she wouldn't have survived if she wasn't fat, man. She wouldn't have survived if she lost all that weight.
Yeah. I honestly like क्या बोलते हैं?
2 minutes
I
of
just want
silence for every actress who has to go through Kriti Sanon being fat.
yeah, like I
But yeah,
mean, yeah.
I
don't know,
love how
like
you can't like wrap your head around this.
yeah, because like I mean, I don't understand why people think gaining weight is such a hard thing when you're always on a diet. It's not. She probably had like one meal, proper meal, and chawal dal khaya hoga, ho gaya hoga. Like it's literally that simple, Baba. These people are on very bad
Yeah.
diets.
Hmm.
I would never
But
want to
like,
live like
I think in general, like I don't know about her, but like in general, there are people who would find it really difficult to gain weight for again
yeah,
medical
yeah, but
issues or
like
like metabolism and all of that. Gaining weight
yeah,
can be difficult, but I feel like, अरे यार,
if she
ठीक है,
gained
if
weight, it's not that difficult then. That's the
yeah,
thing. If you can see it in her face, that means it wasn't difficult.
yeah,
It's as simple as that. Because if it was difficult, you wouldn't see that much weight gain. You would see like, हाँ flab आ गया है इधर उधर. But like I know there are people who are very who all underweight and they're like very
hmm,
incessant about like growing on the weight scale or whatever. But like I don't know if Kriti Sanon was that because she barely grew.
hmm.
But
I just
yeah.
want to see how much weight did she gain. I don't know, like this is 15 kgs. Over was required to gain over 15 kgs. Okay,
Oh
and there's
God.
like a whole article about how she lost the 15 kilos that she gained. Hmm. I had to force I had to force myself to eat as I had lost interest in food. Oh, that's such a nice thing to say. I wish I lose interest in food someday.
Yeah, I know, right? Thank you. Yeah, so I think that's all we had to say about Mimi. Uh, I think the movie, as always, it needs work, definitely. And even I understand the writers, like, I know they wanted to talk about something that's like a women thing, like it's surrogacy, something that's close to women. But it all just feels like it's written from a male gaze point of view, like just like the surrogacy problems and whatnot. So I think, but that's like all we have to say about this. So I think we should really like wrap this up. Um, yeah, Levin, do you have anything last? Do you have anything like to say about this?
Nothing specific. I just really like how I really like that the fact that Mimi did work and it did reach a lot of uh, the necessary audience, because a few movies made by the same director, I feel like I see this trend. I can't remember the director's name, but I see a trend in their movies that revolve around some sort of social issue, like vaguely enough. They have themes revolving around things like that.
What
Um,
was in yeah.
yeah. I lost my train of thought, but yeah, so I see a trend in that. Um, like the same director has made Stree and Made in China, but like Stree did work fairly enough, but like Made in China didn't. So
What social issue did Made in China have?
oh,
I don't know.
not so. I don't know if it was a social issue specifically, but it was like a mirror of society. It was a reality check sort of. It spoke about like jugaad in entrepreneurship, like things like that, right?
Ah,
So that didn't work as well. But like every other movie that is most of their movies are a reflection of society, and I really like that Mimi worked out the way it did. Yep, that's it.
cool. So thank you for listening to Privilege Check podcast. If you like this episode, then please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Don't forget to follow us on our socials. That's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn at Privilege Check. That's PRIVILEGECHK. Do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's Privilege Check. And here's to an enlightened life.
Fools.